Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dave from Military to Millionaire, and today we are going to talk about why service members are lying about how much they get paid, and you may not even realize it. All right, welcome back. So, there is a huge issue with military pay, and no, it is not how much we get paid. I know that for a lot of you and me at one point in life, there was this idea that we don't get paid enough in the military. And we all go around saying, "Oh, I don't get paid enough," even though we have, a fancy Charger, Camaro, Mustang, the new Corvette, whatever it is that we have found a way to spend money on that may or may not be a good investment. Let's see, Jordan's new iPhone, I don't know, new computer, new Xbox, big TV, even though your big TV worked fine, but it's a year old. We're just terrible about this. For me, it was a rifle, a Harley, a truck, sports cars, you name it. And I'm getting better at it. But I see this stuff all the time online. People whining about how much they get paid, and it's all these things that say, oh, the military only makes this much an hour, and you want this much an hour for working at McDonald's, and the military only makes this much doing this, and you want so much more to do this. And it drives me nuts because it seems like in today's day and age, it is cool to have something wrong with you. And so, even though the military has it very good, we will sit around and make it sound like our life sucks because it's cool to have something wrong with you. So, oh, the Marine Corps is dumb. Oh, the Army's dumb. Oh, the Navy's dumb. Whatever. The biggest one is how little we get paid. And I'm really sick of it because it drives me nuts to see it all over the internet and people just whining about how much money they make. And then they get out of the military and they're like, oh, crap. I was making a lot more money than I thought. So we're going to set the record straight right now. I am going to shrink into the corner. And we are going to talk about this screenshot right here, which is the one that set me off the other day. So I see this, I've seen this shared a million times. Exaggerating, obviously. But the most stressful jobs, and it clearly says enlisted military personnel. Now, I've seen one that claims that the average Army salary is $18,000. Like, get the hell out of here. Your W 2 doesn't even say it's that bad, unless maybe you're counting like you joined in June and you're only counting your first year. Like, I made $18,000 because you only worked half the year. So, this one is still wrong. It says average median salary of enlisted military personnel. Really? The average? Like $26,000 a year? No, I'm sorry. I'm barely over halfway through the enlisted pay structure and halfway, not even halfway to the maximum amount of years that I could serve. And my pay is way more than this. Even just my W-2, which we'll get to, is more than this. But that's the problem, is this is claiming your W-2 taxable income. This is not talking about your benefits at all. So I'm going to show you how much money you actually make in the military, because this is ridiculous. $26,000 a year, like, get the heck out of here. You make a hell of a lot more money than that. But for the sake of discussion, we'll talk firefighter 48,000, airline pilot 105, police officer 61, event coordinator. I don't even know how that ended up in here. I guess that's stressful. I don't know. 47,000. Now, here's a couple things that I'll note just looking at this slide. First and foremost, yes, our job is stressful. Sure, so is being a firefighter, police officer, airline pilot, and event coordinator. Now, I will say that the nice thing about our stressful job and some of the other stressful jobs on here is that they're important, right? They're stressful because people rely on you. Nobody wants their airplane to crash. Nobody wants their house to burn down. Nobody wants somebody to break into their house. Nobody wants to go to war. And, nobody wants their wedding to just fall apart, right? They're all important things. People like them. So I'm sure that adds some stress to this. And I don't know, I have no idea what the rest of these salaries compare to. They could all be accurate. They might not. But again, you need to factor in that making $48,000 a year if you live in California sounds like crap. But making $48,000 a year if you live in Arkansas, where I'm from, is fine. You're totally fine on $48,000 a year. You'll live quite nicely. In fact, I just saw something the other day about how much money it takes to like meet your hierarchy of needs, and 45, $50,000 in the Midwest is totally fine, whereas it takes like 100, 120 on the West Coast and Northeast corner, Hawaii, whatever. But I digress. Check this out right here. So this is where I redacted all my information. This is where people get this number. So you'll see right up here in the corner that I made in 2018 $41,931, which, just to go back to that last slide, is what, $15,000 more than this says for median salary. Like, keep in mind they're saying median salary. They're not saying like factored across all. That's the middle number. They picked a number, they picked the middle. That's skewed. It's definitely higher than that, especially since this is 41,000 and I've barely scratched the surface of what enlisted people can make. This is just your W2 though. Look at this. Federal income tax withheld 3,300, Social Security 2,600. Like this stuff's not factored in all this. Well, maybe that stuff is. I don't know. But this is just your taxable income. This does not encompass all of your other benefits. So this is what people look at when they freak out about how little they get paid. They, oh no, I make $41,931.31 and I worked so hard. But I'm going to just omit my health insurance, my life insurance, my free housing, or my housing allowance, my food allowance or free food, depending on if you live in the chow hall, my cost of living allowance if I live somewhere expensive. Like, we'll just forget all those amounts of pay, which is actually more than what you see on the W2. We'll just talk about the W2 because it fits the narrative that woe is me, there's something wrong with me in my pathetic life. No, screw you. Stop whining about it. Look, as we dig into the leave and earning statement, I've done this before and I'm going to link, there's another video where I go much more into depth on this. But if you look down in the bottom here, you'll actually see the breakdown of your basic pay and then the negative stuff that comes out and all the stuff that gets taken out of your pay. Now mine, I'm not even going to zoom in on this and show it to you because mine's super skewed, because you'll see up here that it says I get paid $1,779 and $2,400. Well, that's because I put a bunch away in allotments, so those numbers are actually a lot more, but they don't factor into what hits my direct deposit account because they're pulled out prior to. So for example, I have a $3,000 allotment that goes to my savings account, pays for some bills, and then gets invested. That's not factored in here. So it's a lot more than that, which is why we're not going to dig into this because this one's skewed. But I just wanted to show you that I at least did a little bit of homework to validate this. This is what I actually want to talk to you about. Now, you'll see right here that this is from July 26th, 2019. And I will say that I made more than 10,000, or I made more money in Hawaii before I moved here to San Diego. So this is actually a little less than what I've gotten for the last 3 years. But what I want you to focus on right here is the subtotal 101 or $103,123.25. Now, contrast that to the 41,000. This is 61 and a half, $62,000 more than what is on my W2. So if I was to run around saying I only make this much money, woe is me, like that's not even half of what I'm actually making. So look, 89,604 annual direct compensation. That includes the housing allowance, the food allowance, and everything else. The expense allowance is my housing or my uniform allowance once a year for new boots, new uniforms, whatever. So they pay for my clothing. And the indirect compensation, $12,873. And that's another thing that people just totally leave out when they factor getting out of the military. So we're going to walk through this real quick because I want you to understand this. And this says Marine Corps Total Force System. This is pulled from my personal Marine Online, in case you can't tell by my name and rank being over here. This is pulled from my MOL, my Marine Online website. Now, I think that all the other services have it broken down like this. Maybe not. Maybe it's just because they think Marines need it broken down. I don't know. But this is a brilliant way to break it down. And this is what you need to think whenever you catch yourself complaining about how much you get paid. Look at this. $3,656.40, $43,876.80. This is what's on the W2. So I got a pay raise from last year because I hit the 10-year mark. So this year, my W2 will say $43,876.80, which is my basic pay. My W2 will not include the $3,033 or $36,396 that I get for my housing allowance. That's just to pay my rent. So if I was to get out of the military and live in the same area I'm living right now, I would need to factor that $36,000 into what I need to earn to make the same to cover my house payment. But that's not all. It also includes the $4,432.68 annually for food. Now, you may say $370 is not enough to eat on. You're wrong, but that's if you go out all the time. If you go to the grocery store, $370 is more than enough food you need. I feed a family of 4, including 2 growing boys, on less than $370 a month. Now, I'm not including my eating out into that number. That's my grocery bill. But eating out is very expensive. So if you stop eating out, this will cover everything you need to live for an entire month, which is why they do it this way. Then below, you'll see the federal tax advantage. Oh, look, that's right, because we get tax advantages for being in the military. Like, again, let me just reiterate all this. This is $89,604 right here that I'm getting paid, but only 43,000 of that gets taxed. And you can actually mitigate that more, but that's for another video at another time. To just reiterate that one more time, that's $46,000, 45,000 and some change. It's not taxed. If you get out of the military, you will need to earn that $45,000, $46,000 more than you make right now on your W-2 just to break even. But you'll actually need to earn 25% more than that because the $45,000 will be taxed at probably around 25%, depending on your income bracket, which means that for every $40,000 you make, you're only getting 30. So you'll actually need to make like 56, 57, I don't know, I need to do the math, maybe $60,000 more than what you're making right now in order to just break even on the same cost of living and life quality of life as what you're getting right now. So let's just put that back in perspective. I want to stay in San Diego when I get out of the military, which I don't. But if I do, I would need to find a job that makes me like $103,000 to break even on what we've covered so far. But that's still not it because there's still $644 of expense allowances for my clothing, and there's still all of this down here. Look at this. $3,071.40, which is 7% of my basic pay, goes towards my retirement. So again, we have a pension, which is huge. So yeah, that goes towards my pension. But that's not coming out of my paycheck. That's, I mean, I guess kind of is, but it's indirect. So that's going towards my pension. So assuming I get a pension, I'll get all that back and then some. Here's $5,700 for medical care. So keep in mind that this is for a family. I'm paying $475 a month for medical. Well, I'm not paying $475. The military's paying $475 for medical. If I get out, I don't even want to talk numbers. I haven't really dug into it too much, but I know it's like $1,000 at the like lowest dollar for health medical insurance. Like it's just insane and premiums are nuts. So I get to go and not have to pay a penny for medical for anyone in my family, which this says is a $5,700 value. It's probably closer to a $12,000 to $24,000 value depending on family health and medical coverage and premiums, which means I would need to add that to the other amount. So then we go in and we get Social Security added in, Medicare added in, and indirect compensation totals $12,873.89. This number down here on the bottom. So if you add that to the 89, that is $103,123.25 that I would need to make to have the exact same quality of life in San Diego as I do right now. But again, that's still omitting the 25% tax. So it's probably closer to $120,000 a year that I would need to make in the civilian world to equate what I'm making as an enlisted military personnel. So I want you, the next time you think about complaining about your pay, think about that. Think about how much money you actually make. Now, for those of you who live in the Midwest right now or stationed in the Midwest right now, yes, your number is a lot smaller, but it's still more than what you think you need when you get out of the military. So there's two reasons that I wanted to go off on this little rant today. Number one, I'm really sick of seeing service members whine about their pay when they don't even know what they're talking about. Number two, this negative mindset crap about how little you get paid is holding you back in life. You need to learn how to take advantage of all of this, and you need to understand these benefits. But the biggest piece with this negativity thing, aside from the negative ramifications of being negative all the time, if you exit the military and you firmly believe you only need to make $45,000 a year to live the same lifestyle that you are right now, you're in for a really, really rude awakening. And I have a lot of friends that have had that happen to them. They get out of the military, they think everything's going great, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to get out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make, $60,000 a year, and I'm going to be living like a king. And then they realize that that's not enough to live like a king. That's barely enough to survive on. So if I got out of the military here in San Diego and I only made $60,000 a year, I don't know what I'd do. I'd have to downsize into like a one or two bedroom little tiny apartment. I would have to You probably wouldn't be seeing this because I would be working all the time and wouldn't be able to create any content. I wouldn't have time. I would never eat out. I would probably have to sell some of my vehicles and buy some cheapo things in cash. It would just be a much different lifestyle. I would need to be up over six figures to live the same lifestyle that I'm living right now. So just think about that. I hope this helps some of you out with the mindset, and I hope this helps some of you out with understanding your pay. Maybe this will help you with your decision whether to stay in or get out. But either way, you know, take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is. This is the reality, guys. It's not that we don't get paid anything. Now, we're not gonna get rich in the military, but we make poor decisions with our finances. Now, do me a favor, comment down below if you learned something from this, got something out of it, and share it. Like, seriously, don't just hold on to this information and let other service members continue to just talk about how terrible their pay is. Share this around, help somebody out. You never know how much of a difference this can make. I mean, maybe someone will stay in the military instead of getting out to go work at some minimum wage job thinking they're going to make more money, and that'll greatly improve their quality of life and their transition into the civilian world down the road. So take a look, leave some comments, tell me what you think, share it, and if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel so that you can stay in touch and see some more content. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.